It feels like you've been at war for years, working, providing, carrying the weight for everyone around you. But one day, and without warning, something inside you just quits. Not because you don't care anymore, but because you're running on an empty tank. This is called battle fatigue, and most men never see it coming until it quietly breaks them. Today, I'm going to show you how to recognize it and how to rebuild your strength before it's too late. Let's be honest, there is a hidden war that's going on for all men, and modern life feels like a constant battlefield. You know, I've been there too, several times in my life actually, where my career life has been so intense, so stressful. I'm trying to solve problems at work. I'm trying to provide for my family. I'm trying to keep my marriage together. I'm trying to have time for my children. I'm trying to stay physically healthy. I'm trying to stay sane. It's a lot. I know what it feels like. I know what you feel like if you're in that mode. And guys need to be helped to understand that modern life does feel that way. It feels like a constant battlefield. It feels like every day when you get out of bed, there's a war that you got to go fight. And look, don't get me wrong, to a certain extent, this is right and true, and it's what we men were built for. It's what we were made to do. But the problem is when it's all war all the time, when everything's a battle, when everything is a fight, when everything's intense non-stop, that becomes problematic. You see, battle fatigue is a real crisis, and men hit this moment suddenly and without warning, that they're warring away, they're fighting, they're doing their best at work, they're doing their best at home. They might have had to deal with a relationship breakdown, they might have been in the family courts, they might have lost their job, and they're just at war all the time, and then all of a sudden, without warning, that battle fatigue kicks into gear, and it is a real crisis. It's important for you guys who've been there, or those of you who might be there right now, and certainly if you're not there, but you might be in the future. You've got to understand battle fatigue is not about a lack of fight. It's not about the fact that you've lost your fight. It's about trying to fight when you've got nothing left in the tank, and there's a big difference. And if you can understand that difference today, it can help you to get through this kind of moment. Let's talk about how it catches you off guard for a moment. We get into such a rhythm and routine with going to war and being in a battle that we just think everything's fine. But the truth of the matter is, every single day, in every single moment, especially when things are stressful and intense, we are burning emotional and mental resources. In other words, the soul of every human, the soul of every man, is like a fuel tank in a car. And in order to travel in that car, you have to burn fuel. You can't go from A to B and not have a reduction in the available fuel resources. Well, our soul is exactly the same as that. You can't get from the start of today to the end of today, or the start of a problem at work to the solution of that problem at work without burning fuel resources. The difference is that when it comes to this war for us as men, the resources are not fuel in a petrol tank. The resources are emotional and mental and physical. And it flows into our willpower, that we get to a point where our tank can get so low that we run out of our ability to engage our will. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this content, I'd love you to subscribe to my newsletter. I call it Original Masculinity Letters to Men. I'm writing to inspire you and encourage you on your masculine journey, on the way to recovering your masculine heart. If you'd love to be part of that, there's a link in the description below. Click on that, and that's how you can join and get these newsletter episodes that come out regularly. There's a cost associated with ignoring it. If we continue to just move forward, whipping ourselves, telling ourselves just keep going, keep getting up for the fight, which is noble and is worthy of respect. But if we don't understand that all of that battle and all of that warring is just draining us, there will be a price to pay. And the cost of ignoring it plays out in our relationships and in our health and in our purpose. First of all, when you get yourself so weary and so fatigued that you can't keep on going, your relationships will suffer. And men, I want to encourage you specifically today, there are no relationships in your life that matter more than your marital partner and your children. They are top of the list compared to anything and everything else. If you've got one or two close friends, great. Treasure it. Keep them close. But whatever you do, don't let casual work relationships, don't let casual colleagues that are going to come and go, don't let them become more important to you than the most important relationships, because sometimes our limited resources only leave just enough for the relationships that matter. And if we get so fatigued, those important relationships suffer. Secondly, our health can begin to suffer. As men, we know what it's like to make sacrifices. We put others ahead of ourselves. We put our family first. I know of men who literally have spent months on end not eating full meals because there's only enough food to go around for the family. And so a good man makes the choice, I will wait till the end. My children need to eat before I eat. But we can do less dramatic sufferance than that, where we begin to ignore our health. We get overweight. We begin to drink too much. We begin to get sedentary and lazy because we're weary on the inside. It becomes a compounding factor. And then thirdly, we can experience loss of purpose when we're fatigued. These are the areas where we get drained of our power if we ignore the reality of how quickly this thing can set in. We need to talk about what it means to rebuild our strength. I want to give you 3 steps to refuel and to find your fire again. Remember that when we talk about battle fatigue, we're talking about the reality that you haven't lost your ability to fight. What's going on is you're trying to fight with an empty tank. And that gives us our first big hint about what we need to do about it. The simple truth and the big headline is you're running on empty and you need to refuel. So here comes 3 things that every man can do to start putting some fuel back in that tank so that you start operating on available resources again. Number 1, you need to find some recreational activity. For some of you, you used to play sport. For some of you, you used to like going to watch live sport. Some of you used to play music. Some of you used to go and hang with your mates and get involved with fishing or going boating or doing something like this, but you've forgotten about it. You've ignored yourself. You've put other things first out of nobility, but you've ignored the fact that your own soul needs fuel. And the word recreation is no coincidence. If you break it down, it's recreation. You are re-energizing the available resources on the inside. And if all you do with your diary and your time is work and productivity and going to war, you're not adding resources back into your tank. So you've got to re-engage that recreation. That's the first thing. Number 2, you've got to find some time for solitude and silence. Our lives are so noisy. Our lives are so busy. There are so many demands on us. But the fact of the matter is your soul, my soul, were not designed to cope with 24/7, 365 being on demand, being on standby. If you don't find some silence and some solitude, a place where you can turn the lights off, so to speak, where you can turn the volume down, where you can have some retreat from an angry, high-paced world, you are doing damage to your soul. You need to block out some time where you can be alone. Maybe it's in the car ride home from work. Don't put the radio on. Don't put music on. Get in that cocoon of silence and realize that can be a retreat from you. Let your soul breathe and recover. Number 3, and this is real simple, you need to find your place in nature that your soul thrives in. Some of you guys are beach people. Some of you guys are mountain people. Some of you guys are going for a long drive people. It doesn't really matter what your personal preference is. there is something powerful about getting yourself out into sunlight, out into fresh air, out into nature in a way where you can enjoy being out of the war and the battle and all of the stuff that are responsibilities. You know, every good counselor, every good psychologist that you would ever talk to, and you might note there that I'm pointing out good counselor, good psychologist, because sadly there's plenty of the opposite. But every good practitioner of mental health and soul health will tell you that one of the best things you can do for your health and well-being is to get yourself in nature. It's a regenerative experience. So it doesn't really matter if it's the beach or a mountainside or a lakeside or camping or going for a bike. Get outside, get out of the stuff and the responsibility. If you can do those three things, they will definitely start to add fuel back into your tank and get you ready again to take action for the fight. Fellas, let me encourage you today, if you have experienced this in the past, maybe you're going through it right now, or maybe you're nervous that you're going to go through this in the future, I want to encourage you with this simple thought: you're not alone in this. One of the things that we do to ourselves as men, as if we weren't under enough pressure, we get into these tough spots and then we whip ourselves and we punish ourselves and we get embarrassed and we feel guilty and ashamed for allowing ourselves somehow to become so fatigued. But the truth of the matter is, not only are you not alone, you're not even in a minority. You're actually in quite a large majority of men who get to this point. What matters more than getting here is understanding that it's quite normal and how to get out of here. So you're not alone. And if you lay hold of some of these practical tips that we're talking about today, they will help you to get through battle fatigue and get engaged with productive fight again so that your life keeps on moving forward. Guys, if this video today has been helpful and encouraging to you, I'd love you to watch another video that's similar. You can click on it right here. It's all about what to do when you hit a wall in life, where I talk about this subject even more, because I want you to be encouraged that hitting a wall, getting battle fatigue doesn't have to be the end for you. It actually can be the start of a new chapter where you make progress and move forward. I'd love to see you in another video real soon.